Superman Lois Season 3 has just wrapped, and it might be the show at its emotional peak. As the storyline of Lois' journey with cancer challenges the characters in different ways that is great to watch play out. However, those looking for a Superman season might just view this as the show's worst. This show, compared to other CW shows, has always thrived on its writing, with how it handles character interactions, resolutions, and how it lays out the plot. This season feels like maybe they didn't have the budget they normally do, meaning they did have to rely on that writing a bit more. Now, there's normally that one Superman scene where he goes to fight some rando, but those scenes sometimes feel like an obligation. Like, the show's called Superman Lois, so we need Supes to fight one dude. Some action scenes are average and others are really engaging, such as episode 4's scene with Clark against Candace's dad. But when looking at the main plot of the season, we have Lois dealing with the news that she has stage 3 aggressive breast cancer whilst trying to take down Bruno Mannheim, who has started giving people powers. For me, this is the best story on the show has had. Seeing the effects of dealing with cancer has not only had on Lois, but the entire family was handled extremely well. I was really worried they would fix the cancer by giving her powers or not give it that much attention until the plot needs it to be a problem, but the show commits. There was a string of episodes in the middle where every shot was dedicated to how Lois was doing and the new struggles that would arise, and it would never get boring. Elizabeth Tulloch gives her all, and for me is the standout of the season. She's able to give such strength but also show vulnerability. She might now be my favourite Lois, beating Smallville's one, maybe. But looking at the rest of the family, Clark has some great episodes where he's put in a situation where he can't save Lois. He feels powerless. There's nothing to punch, nothing to fly after. All he has is his hope.
You're gonna beat this thing. There's not a doubt in my mind.
And even then, that turns into toxic optimism, where he refuses to accept the fact that Lois might die. It was a real cool storyline for Superman to deal with. Like I said, it does take away from his normal crime-fighting activities, but there are still some great Superman scenes, normally when he's teamed up with Jordan. Jordan's mostly dealing with the breakup with Sarah, and I think they handled it well. They don't use the excuse that now Sarah knows his secret, she just gets back with him. They're both characters that need time apart, and the show gets that point across. In terms of his superhero life, it feels a little on and off. He's around helping with simple things. The one-shot action scene with the kids was really cool. The end of the season shows maybe how Jordan could take a darker turn. I don't think they'll go down that route, but that little segment was a nice addition. Finally, Jonathan. Felt like they wanted to ease a new actor in, and this guy does a solid job, so well that you forget about the recast. But they also don't give him much to work with. Everything he does feels disconnected from the others. Doesn't make his firefighter arc bad, but does make you think maybe the writers aren't that interested in Jonathan anymore. But what did you think about the storyline? Did you like the Kents this season, or do you think they need to be more active? On the villain side, we have the Mannheims, and they work really well as this mirror to the Kent family. They're willing to cross lines to save Pia, Bruno's wife, whilst the Kents would never cross those lines. They don't make them cartoonish, they're based in reality, which makes them all real tragic characters. It always feels like they're writing on the wall for Pia, but they refuse to accept that fact. There are parts of the season you're kind of hoping it works out for them even. Bruno's speech to Superman about how he doesn't change anything, as his area of Metropolis has been left to rot, is impactful. I wish they dived deeper. Bruno is not just evil, he and South Metropolis have been neglected, and he wants justice. Episode 11's conclusion with Pia passing feels unjust in ways, but also right. No big fight, just the consequences of their actions. The show crafts these antagonists well, making this season a standout. But what were your thoughts on the Mannheims? Did you see them as threatening, or did you prefer past season villains such as Taureau and Parasite? But now for what I see as season 4, because the way the last 2 episodes feel so detached from the season is crazy. We don't see Bruno or anyone, we get thrown into the next big bad, Lex Luthor. The final 2 episodes are mostly to emphasize that this Lex is a cruel dude. He gets his way, it's up to you how you want to take it. Episode 12 looks into his time in prison, tells us all we need to know, and leads us into the finale that makes up a little bit for the lack of action by bringing in a bizarro Doomsday. This rendition of Doomsday is very comparable to BVS's Doomsday, but I feel like this show handles it better. This isn't Superman's first day or first year. This isn't his first encounter with Luthor. Also, I feel more for this Doomsday as it's just a fallen Superman. A Superman that lost his Lois, his children, his world, his hope. He's broken, and Luthor uses that to corrupt him and make him this monster. The final fight is a great spectacle. We start in Smallville, then Metropolis, and then go to the moon, where there being a real fear of what's to come. The show has done the whole life flashing before your eyes before, but because of the great writing, every time it elicits an emotion from me. I even like the rock song choice, Finn, Lex, and the monster. Our final shot had me annoyed, hyped, everything. The show is so good and seasonally upholds that quality and in some areas lifts it. For the cons, like I said at the start, if you came in wanting an action-packed season of Superman, you ain't getting that until the finale. The finale probably feels so big because of the lack of memorable action. There's even an episode without Superman entirely. It's just this wholesome episode. I'm not holding that against the show because I know it has a budget and doing big set pieces has to be safe for big situations. But action we do get is still serviceable to really damn good. Also a little nitpick, that episode dedicated to Sophie running away because she, everyone forgets her, was a nice bit of mere commentary, but the fact that we don't see the girl again is the funniest shit the show's done. If it was intentional, then fair play. If not, then it kind of feels like a waste of time and maybe a waste of an episode that could have been given to something else. Overall, this is another solid season of the show, and if you like the past two, you'll like this one. I'm trying to be optimistic about season 4 because I trust the writers, but I hope the new restrictions on them don't massively harm the show. Here's hoping we get 4 solid seasons with the best Superman and Lois we've ever had. Thanks for watching my review on Superman Lois Season 3. Let me know your thoughts on how this season compares to the previous two and keep you hyped for Season 4 like it did for me. Make sure to comment below your thoughts and subscribe for future content. Peace.